If you clicked on this video, then you're probably wanting to know how to increase your income in your career. Today, I want to share a journey, my journey, of how I increased my income over the course of my career, and hopefully you can take some nuggets that you can use in your own journey. But just to be clear, this isn't about numbers. It's about lessons, growth, and strategies that anyone can use to move forward in their career. This video isn't supposed to be me bragging. I'm not here to tell you how much I make or why my path is better than anyone else's. Instead, I want to share insights I've gained along the way, from my financial struggles growing up to building the life I've always dreamed of. I'm also still on this journey, by the way, so I'm not quite at the end yet or where I even want to be. But I am working to develop my skills every day, both at work and outside of it. So let's dive in. The first thing I want to cover is goals for the future. So before we get into my backstory, let me share why this journey has been so important to me. Growing up, I saw firsthand how financial stress can weigh on a family. My ultimate goal has always been to build a life where I don't have to worry about finances, to feel secure and provide the same security for the people that I care about. I also want to enjoy my money, whether it's traveling with loved ones, indulging in unique experiences, or giving into my tech-loving tendencies. These are the things that make my life feel fulfilling. And lastly, I want to help others, whether it's lending a hand to friends or supporting causes that matter. That financial freedom, it really lets you give back. Let's talk about my backstory. I'll call this my relationship with money growing up. I saw the effects of financial stress everywhere, literally everywhere. My parents often argued about money, and I remember what it felt like to be left out of experiences because we just couldn't afford them. We didn't have the latest gadgets or toys, and I promised myself that I'd work hard to change that. When I turned 16, I got my first job. I know some places you can get a job at 14 or 15, but in Washington State, 16 was the age. So as soon as I turned 16, I went and got my first job. It was minimum wage, but to me, it was a ticket to independence. I still remember my first big purchase. You're gonna laugh at this, but it was a $300 trampoline. It felt amazing to finally have something I'd always wanted. And sure, the trampoline didn't last forever, and some might say it was a bad purchase, but the feeling of working for something and achieving it stuck with me. I was also using my mom's car at the time to get to and from work for my shifts because I didn't have my own mode of transportation. So after working for a few months and being able to save around $1,500, my dad said to me that if I wanted to go car shopping, he would cover half the cost of my vehicle. So I went and found a car that was $3,000. It was a 15-year-old Ford Explorer with a couple 100,000 miles on it. It wasn't anything glamorous, but you know what? It would get me from point A to point B, and it would drive decently in the snow for safety purposes, because where I lived, it snowed quite a bit. I was responsible for covering expenses for that vehicle, insurance, gas, and I also worked out a payment plan with my dad to pay him back for the money that he contributed to the car. I never liked the feeling of handouts, and I wanted to make sure he got his money back. Eventually, I ended up covering the cost of the car several months later. I'm telling you this so you can see that the drive to achieve my goals has always been there. This is something you will need to develop. From there, I worked a variety of jobs throughout high school. I did fast food, construction for a summer, and even a take-and-bake pizza shop called Papa Murphy's. These experiences were definitely not glamorous, but they taught me discipline, time management, and the value of a paycheck, and how hard money could be to come by. The third thing I want to talk about is career milestones and lessons. After high school, I went to college because I believed this was the best path to a better paying job. While working towards my degree, I balanced multiple jobs. I worked at a Blockbuster, which they're no longer around, but I did work there, Starbucks, bussing tables at a local restaurant, you name it, I was doing it. I even worked for this Filipino family that needed their shop that they had owned have the shelves replaced. I moved a bunch of things around. I helped them carry one thing from a house they were moving out of to another house they were moving out of. Just anything I could to make money. Again, these weren't dream jobs, but they instilled a work ethic I carry with me today. When I graduated, I landed my first big opportunity, Amazon.com. They hired me as an area manager at a fulfillment center, and my starting salary was $50,000 a year. I was managing large teams in a fast-paced environment, and that was really an eye-opener. Over 2 years, I gained invaluable skills in leadership, problem solving, and thriving under pressure. From there, I moved to another company, Nike, where I managed a portion of their warehouse operations. My salary increased from $50,000 to $58,000, more than I had ever seen my parents make in a year. I think my mom at the peak was making around $40,000 a year as an x-ray tech at the local hospital. I felt like I'd made it, but after about 7 months, I received a LinkedIn message that changed everything. That takes me to my fourth point, taking risks and moving forward. That message that I got on LinkedIn, it seemed way too good to be true. It was an accelerated leadership program with a company expanding in the US, and I was definitely cautious, but I took a chance, and after several interviews, I ended up landing the job, which came with incredible perks and a starting salary of $80,000 a year. $58,000 to $80,000. That leap of faith marked a turning point in my career. Over the next 7.5 years with that company, I more than doubled my income while continuing to grow, learn, and network with people. Eventually, when I felt my growth was stagnating, I made another leap, this time into tech. After a lengthy process of interviewing and meeting with people, I finally joined Google. The journey wasn't easy, but it was definitely worth it. With a similar base salary to my previous role, the additional compensation nearly doubled my W-2 income. Again, in this video, I'm focusing solely on my W-2 career. I won't go into details about my investments or other financial strategies, but I'll cover those in future videos if you're interested. The fifth thing I want to mention here are the key strategies for career growth. So here's what helped me along the way. My top strategies, which I've heard a ton of other people say, but I have to reiterate the ones that are most important and have been the most valuable for me. Focus on continuous learning. Never stop building new skills, whether it's on the job or in your personal time. Staying curious keeps you ahead of the curve. This is something I practice every day, and I'm still learning to grow. You need to leverage your network. The saying, your network is your net worth, definitely holds true. Build genuine connections and don't be afraid to reach out for advice or recommendations. I'll give you an example. Even in college, the reason I got my job with Amazon was because one of my college classmates got a job with Amazon and was able to refer me to the same recruiter that got them hired. I went through the interview process and landed it. I still had to use my own skills, but I was able to get there because of a connection that I had made. The next thing is embrace change. Growth often requires stepping out of your comfort zone, whether it's changing roles, industries, or locations. Be open to opportunities that align with your goals. I had to relocate more than 11 times in my career. I have moved from places like Washington State, where I went to school, to Tennessee, to another location in Tennessee for Nike, to Virginia, to Washington, D.C., to Germany, to Ireland, to Denmark, back to Washington, back to Virginia, to North Carolina, and now where I live in Nevada. Being flexible in location is a huge benefit for you if you want to continue to grow in your career, because there may be openings not in your specific area, but in other areas within your field that you could go to if you're willing. Keep your profile updated. And when I say profile, I mean your LinkedIn or professional social media presence, because that can be a very powerful tool. Keep it current with your skills and accomplishments so when you're ready, the opportunities can come knocking. Identify your why. This is really critical because no matter what your goals are, you need to start by identifying why they are your goals. Why do you want to grow in your career? Is it financial security? Is it personal growth, or something completely different? Use that as inspiration to map out your goals and guide your decisions. This helps provide clarity. Why are you doing what you're doing? Seek exposure and leadership opportunities. Meet with your line managers, connect with leaders at skip-level meetings, and take on high-impact projects or programs. Show strong leadership signals by developing others and adding value to your organization. Those things get you noticed, and when you get noticed, they think of people for promotions. Who do you think they're going to think of? It's the people that they noticed. They don't think of the person that they've never seen, the person that's never stood out to them. They will think of you. Looking back, I feel incredibly grateful for how far I've come. I've been able to help friends and family when they needed it most, both financially and through my personal experiences that have helped guide them. I've been able to enjoy experiences I once thought were completely out of reach, like traveling internationally, dining at incredible restaurants, and staying in luxury hotels. I've been able to indulge in hobbies and passions that bring me joy. But more than anything, I've learned that success isn't about the paycheck. It's about using what you have to create a life you love and helping others along the way. And I know I'm not done yet. I said that at the beginning of this video. There's still so much to learn, improve, and achieve. So if you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. Your career journey is yours to shape. Focus on growth, building meaningful connections, and never stop learning. With the right mindset and actions, you can achieve more than you ever thought possible. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful or inspiring, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also let me know in the comments, what's one goal you're working towards right now? Let's keep the conversation going. I'll see you in the next video.